So Elder Scrolls Online now actually seems like a pretty decent MMO. Who would have thunk it? A game that released as barely an MMO, just another long line of theme parks that epitomized the feeling of playing alone together. A questing and map-based progression system that made it incredibly hard to play together, and that's if you could even see each other due to the weird way that phasing worked at times. For some reason, it just feels like it wasn't fun to play, and even though I am enjoying it now, that little feeling is still there and I can't put my finger on why. It's no exaggeration to say that the One Tamriel update improved everything about this game. It just feels like it is a better game now and a far better MMO, without the needless restrictions of before. The general gameplay feels a lot more fluid with adventuring around the map and more open with both where to go and the choices you have available to you. Beforehand, it was mostly that set Cadwell's mission chain to move you around the map after 50, and even beforehand as well. It felt way too structured, and due to the grind of how tough the mobs got, rather unfun as well. Now when I was playing, I was jumping around between these maps based on my own little goals and interests. At first I was trying to get a lot more sky shards to complete my build and get more options available to me. And while I was there, just explore a little bit as well. Eventually I ended up, unlocking the various areas of the maps and special interest points. This led to a large jump in my champion level as well, as all that exploration rewarded me with a decent chunk of experience. That's really amazing now, being rewarded for enjoying the content you had actually wanted to do. While in these new areas, I would occasionally fall into that little combat pattern with, clearing certain areas and mobs, occasionally jumping into those little delves, where beforehand, these were often outrageously hard and a slog at times for me. So you would just run around to find these points and you weren't actually able to do much of the content itself. It just all restricted those options available to you. But now, you are able to fall into these various pieces of content that you come across, and it's a more relaxing way to play because of it. Because of these big changes, it actually feels like more of an MMO now too, with the game feeling more lively and the world around you actually fairly busy. Every area I visited had various other adventurers running around. Every single delve had other people there too, which I am actually rather surprised with, as sometimes these could be rather empty if they were one of the, unpopular ones. I find it rather comforting now to see all these other players around me, not just because this is an MMO after all, but also with how other players make traversing these areas much easier. And often enough, you form these little impromptu groups just following each other around those areas while, you help each other kill the enemies. I was experiencing far more social interaction while exploring as well, not just those quick people playing around me in circumstances, but actual chatting as you explore, forming groups and running through content that goes from maybe just one delve to a complete tour of an area, including world bosses and public dungeons. Many other groups were running around, and it seemed like constant groups being asked for and formed across each map. It is a complete turnaround from when I last played that just embodies what an MMO is supposed to be. And seriously, when the hell did individual loot come in? Holy shit! I was even impressed with all the little details that have taken place in my absence. It was always a rather detailed world, lovingly crafted around, similar Elder Scrolls experiences, but at times, this felt rather static. A world stuck in time, motionless and untouchable, but now all the little small details you find like cups and plates and swords on racks or boots on the ground are interactable. Collect and sell as much as you can, and while sometimes it isn't exactly worth it as vendor trash, it's still nice that you can do it now. The DLC packs seem to have expanded the world nicely too, and also added the various systems that came with them. Assassinating NPCs, thieving from homes and fencing to a buy, and little mechanics around each. It creates an MMO experience with a lot more options and one that does feel closer to its Elder Scrolls heritage without sacrificing too much of what makes an MMO enjoyable. This seems to be continuously improving now as they've chosen, the right development directions, minus lockboxes, of course. With housing coming soonish, it will get even better as well in my mind. Even though a lot has changed now to make it a fairly decent MMO with components I really enjoy, I'm still finding it weirdly hard to get more invested in it. That's something that felt off at release still kinda does. Now though, I know it's not really ESO's fault, but probably more of my own hang-ups. Maybe it's just that story-heavy focus that's not appealing to me right now, and I just need to settle into the groove like I did for Secret World. Maybe it's that my tanking build sucks for general play, and I should focus on that a little bit. Or maybe just a dose of PvP to get my MMO interest pumping in me again. Or it could be that my general feeling with Elder Scrolls games about their art style and design being incredibly boring transfers a little bit over to here as well. Well, thanks. What's your thoughts on One Tamriel? And leave them in the comments below. See you next time.